Would love to play first with my Daze deck. This good? If so, why? Please explain. I think we're just always supposed to lead on Deathrite Shaman. If you have the option to, like, if we go, like, land, Delver, go, and they Wasteland us, we can just, like, lose the game. Like, Deathrite Shaman guarantees us 2 mana next turn. Like, we'll probably have 2 mana because of this Ponder anyways. Winnie Name here! With the resub on the Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it. Welcome back. Subscriptions are the best way you support my content, so I appreciate it. Please not lands. Probably lands. Enchantress? I feel like I'm supposed to stunt their acceleration. I feel like this Daze probably isn't going to be very good for very long against a deck with acceleration in it, so let's just nip that in the bud. I'm just going to go Delver here, I think. Just, like, get my pressure on. For those who are not familiar, Enchantress Legacy is generally a prison deck. Main deck Carpet of Flowers, yep. That's going to give them extra mana. It gives them extra mana this turn? That's obnoxious. I'm playing a paper tournament in 2 weeks. A local team event. That's... nope. Good beat. Alright, well, I guess I ponder first so I could find a probe to make this therapy better. I don't think I want any of these cards. Let's shuffle. It's another therapy. Alright, that makes this slightly less bad. So, what's a 4 of these Enchantress decks usually play? I feel like... oh, wow, they do have a 5/0 with the Enchantress deck. Alright. Elephant Grass could be an okay name. I'm basically like looking for a 4 of that I can name out of their deck. Enchantress Presence is another one of their engine cards. I'm going to name Enchantress Presence. It's a 4 of in their deck. Look at that. Look at that. And now we can cast this next one and take their 2 wild growths. So they have 2 wild growths in their hand. Yep, when it becomes more accessible, we're definitely going to play Standard. Someone asked for my thoughts on the new format. I actually haven't. It does, honestly, it looks, I'd be kind of surprised if this format, if this set has too big of an impact on the current Standard format, which is probably fine, because, like, the set seems like we're probably going to have, like, plenty to do, right? Like, this current format seems enjoyable, so I'm not really going to be sad if we don't get a lot of new things out of this. Am I supposed to, like, trade this Deathrite Shaman for, like, this Sterling Grove? I feel like I'm supposed to trade one of these creatures for this Sterling Grove. Because, like, it's going to give them utility. Not that we can kill their enchantments anyways, but, like, they can cantrip this. Like, this is the last time these Cabal Therapies are going to get value. I feel like I should trade the Delver of Secrets, because they hit something like Carpet of Flowers. I'm not going to be able to attack anyways. This is each opponent. Each opponent loses 2 life. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice a Delver here and take the Sterling Grove away. Let's just take all 4 of your cards away. Go. You have Shroud, yep. That's why we kept the Deathrite Shaman. Because it can kill them through a solitary confinement. They only have 1 Enchantress effect right now, though, so, like... this isn't going to last particularly long for them. I would not like to reveal that card. I'd like to cast this Ponder. Probably don't really want any of those cards, right? Especially because they don't flip the Delver over. I'm going to do this. I think I'm just going to pass the turn for now. They have main deck Blood Moon. They might have a main deck Blood Moon here, which would be bad for us. Feeling like a Blood Moon, they just fetched a basic. Helm of Obedience. Okay, so they've got Helm Rip combo, sure. That makes sense. Seems like a good way to make their deck competitive. Rest in Peace is decent in Modern in general. Can this flip finally? Yay! Draw Brainstorm. Cast Brainstorm. So I can go top. I can cast this Pyromancer. Make red. No cards. Alright, now we're going to crack this fetch because we know there's a... This does give them another mana, technically, but we know there's not a thing that we're interested in on top of our deck. I think we're basically like looking for forces and dazes at this point. Wasteland doesn't do a whole lot. I think I'm just going to shuffle these. We're looking for counterspells, basically, at this point. Perfect. So now if we draw any blue card or if we draw a land, we can actually hardcast the force with the Deathrite Shaman. Yeah, pretty quick lock here between the Delvers and the Pyromancers. They have all the mana they could want, so I just need them to brick off for a little bit here. Perfect. And then one more brick out of them is basically what we need, and if we draw a blue card or a land, which is most of the cards in our deck, to be fair, we be in really good shape. That is neither of the things we wanted to draw. Attack with these. They could also draw Rest in Peace and kill us here, because we haven't drawn a... Oh, actually, we're not dead to... Oh, yeah, we are dead to Rest in Peace, so we wouldn't be able to activate this. It's pretty bold going to 3. Like, what if we just, like, bolted you here, dude? It's a real shame we didn't draw a land or blue card there. For fuck's sake, seriously? What a tilt. How many Rest in Peace do they play? This list doesn't have Rest in Peace in it that he played earlier. Well, you know, Magic's a skill game sometimes. That's, you know, tilt. Tilt! Rave R Rat with the 13-month resubscription. Thank you for the continued support as we slide out of our chair. I do appreciate it. Welcome back. Believe it or not, we actually don't really have cards in our sideboard for this matchup. I guess True-Name seems fine. Kolaghan's Command doesn't seem particularly good. Diabolic Edict's fine, I guess. Believe it or not, I'm allowed to say whatever I want on my stream. And if you don't enjoy it, I get that some people don't care about language, but swear words are part of real life, and I promise they're not going to hurt you. Fish probably isn't great. It can't attack through elephant grass ever. Oh, Needle and K-Command interact with that. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Needle the Helm, dog. Yep, good call. Is K-Command worth it? I feel like they're not going to play out the Helm first a lot of the time. This seems narrow. Needle is definitely good. This seems narrow. And, like, that game really came down to, like, that turn our Delvers didn't flip, like, we were down 4 points of damage, and then, you know, they lived at 1 effectively. Yes, my children are fine. They will live through a swear word or two. My children are going to hear plenty of swear words in real life. If you make swear words this giant taboo thing, it'll be, the children will think they're special and obnoxious, but like if it's just part of their life, like it's not a big deal. I promise. Like Sands. I guess I've got like build your own Silvergill Adept on 2 here. This is probably fine. You can probe on 1. Take a look for a 1-drop here before we play our land. God, the hands this deck keeps. Utopia Sprawl here on 1. That's fine this time around, not forcing that. 10 out of 10 going to force this Argothian Enchantress, though. I feel like I'm going to fall in love with this Snapcaster Mage very quickly. So, when you Snapcaster Probe, you can pay health, because that's fair and balanced. Now the question becomes, do I want to force pitching Brainstorm, or do I want to force pitching Force? I feel like I want to force pitching Brainstorm because Force seems like it's pretty important in this matchup. Yeah, I think I'm going to force pitching Brainstorm. I want my forces in this matchup to like keep them off of their relevant cards. They have a pretty low density of cards that like actually matter. Because like any other blue card enables this, just like that. Do this. Kill them pretty quickly this game, especially when we bolt them at end of turn here. Send this one upstairs. You go to 13. I have 5 power in play. Sure. You fetch around that Stifle opponent. This is kind of an interesting decision. It's like, do I cast this Brainstorm to try and find another blue card and like put lethal in play? I think that's worth it. This puts lethal in play if I hit a land and like a blue card or something. Alright, we hit a blue card. So put these 2 back. Play this out, pass the turn. And then if they give me something to force, we have lethal in play. And if they don't give me something to force, I just cast Brainstorm at their end of turn and then have lethal in play. I'm gonna crack this fetch line before I brainstorm, because I know I've got 2 crappy cards on top of my deck. Alright. Well, that wasn't pretty for the opponent. I think we're just gonna leave this how it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and submit here. Hopefully their deck does its inconsistent thing again, and we get to get them. We almost won that first game, so yeah, it seems fine. Is this hand fine? This hand doesn't really... I guess this hand doesn't really interact with them. Like, do we think... Can we do better than this? I guess it's got a Brainstorm and a Probe. This hand could, like, be literally anything. Yeah, but I feel like I don't have any other cards that are relevant in my sideboard to bring in if I cut a Wasteland. If I'm playing a paper tournament, I am probably playing to win, and I think if you want to win in Legacy and you're not playing Grixis Delver, you shouldn't consider yourself playing to win. I think this deck is head and shoulders above everything else in the format, and I've been like trying other things in the format off and on, and like every time I try something else, I'm just like, man, I should probably just be playing Grixis Delver. This hand's like really soft to Rest in Peace, and it can't interact with an Argothian Enchantress. But it's got, like, functional mana. It's, like, hard to pass up Deathrite Go. I guess we could Brainstorm on one if we're really worried about it. That seems loose. We get 2 draws at Probe or Therapy that I'm going to keep. We've got 2 draws at Probe or Therapy. Or Force or Therapy, sorry. How screwed am I? Turn 2 Rip. Alright, well, you know. I guess we can Daze this Rip too, potentially. So we've got 4 looks at a Daze. Yep. We're going to need to Brainstorm in response to this, and if we brick, we're probably going to be in a bad spot. That's possible we're supposed to mulligan this hand. I guess with Daze in my deck too, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan, because that's pretty relevant interaction. But they do have the Accelerants too is the problem. I got a Bayou, that's good for us. Leave the Doomwake in their opener. Well, that's good for us. Put these 2 back, so we're just going to redraw them anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, and I think we just try to Delver them out of the game at this point and just Wasteland them. Because if they drew a land, we're not going to be able to Daze their Rest in Peace anyways. I'm sure they drew a land, yeah. It's unfortunate for us. I suppose I could cast a Brainstorm here. And like hope to find it. And so their hand right now is Enchantress Presence, Engineered Plague, Rest in Peace, Doomwake Giant. So like we know all 4 of their cards. So like if they don't hit, I could yeah, I'm just gonna play this. If they don't hit a land, I can Daze the Rest in Peace. I'm sure they're gonna hit a land and we're gonna lose this game because of it, but oh, God bless. God bless us, everyone. There's some run goods for us. will take the run goods, thank you. There's a force. Okay, let's void that. Get a blue, cast this Brainstorm. So, that's a touch awkward. So I want to flip this Delver next turn. They drew the land off the Argothian Enchantress trigger, most likely. So they probably didn't make a mistake. They could have possibly made a mistake, but they probably didn't make a mistake there. I'm going to put back Needle, Bolt, go land, Delver, pass. And apply some pressure here. Caracas, sure. So, like, here's where we kind of have to draw a line in the sand. It's like, do we want to force this, or do I want to try and force their cards that are going to make a relevant impact on the game? I think I'd rather try and force cards like Engineered Plague at this point in my life and Enchantress Presence, which might be incorrect. I think because they already have this in play, I'm just supposed to let this happen. We have a pretty reasonable clock here. I'm going to go ahead and cast this Young Pyromancer. Attack with this. Kind of fast clock. I get to force the first relevant thing they have. It's a Green Sun Zenith? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, like I said, we're letting them snowball at this point. We're just they can do all the drawing and setting up they want. We're just gonna try and actually force the thing that matters and kill them. Lotus Petal. Okay. Lead on Brainstorm here, I think. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be close. Probe's decent. It's another thing. We did not hit a shuffle, which just kind of sucks. We didn't hit a red source either, which also sucks. They have Doomwake Giant, and they have an Engineered Plague. So, I'm either not casting the Snapcaster or not casting the Probe. I think I'm putting back the Needle and the Trop at this point. And then I can play this. Cast this. Double Doomwake Giant. Alright, so they can cast Plague and Solitary Confinement next turn, which kind of sucks. I'm going to go ahead and cast this. And we'll go ahead and attack my opponent with these two. So we put them to 11. And then we're going to get to Lightning Bolt my opponent with this Deathrite Shaman down to 8 and make another token. And then we could double drain them with Deathrite Shamans on our turn. So I think we can win this. We let Engineered Plague resolve, and then we force the Solitary Confinement. Or if they just cast Doomwake Giant, we just force that. We want to bolt in response to... the... what's it called, though? The Engineered Plague, so that way we get the token off the Young Pyromancer. Opponent definitely has a chance to mess this up, which would be great for us. Dryad Arbor, sure. They just want to shuffle these cards. Oh, they're just using that, literally just using that to shuffle? Rest in peace. Okay, Do I care about that one? Well, we're 10 out of 10 doing this and bolting them here. So this Rest in Peace, I probably have to let this Rest in Peace resolve because Solitary Confinement's the one that we can't beat at this point because they just have infinite cards in their hand. So yeah, we let Rest in Peace resolve. These Deathrite Shamans won't be able to drain next turn, but they will be able to attack. You can play the land and then they've got one spell, right? It has to be Solitary Confinement. And we get to force that, and then they get to block this, and then take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 from this token. I think they're exactly dead here. I believe they're exactly dead. Block this, yeah, take 8. That's a close game. Elvish Spirit Guide, cast Fog, flip keyboard. Yeah, exactly dead. Alright. GG's opponent. They ripped out of it in the first game, but that game, I feel like we managed it pretty well. We were fortunate that they didn't... So they hit the second land after, or the third land after we wastelanded them, but they didn't hit the fourth land on time to not let us daze their first Rest in Peace. That was kind of like the pivotal turning point. So, like, they hit the first time, but they didn't hit the second time, and that allowed us to win the game. Wasteland's a heck of a Magic card. They fetched the Bayou because they happen to have a bunch of black cards in their hand that game, so that worked out for us well. Without the Wasteland being alive there, we definitely would not have been in that game. Yeah, the Brainstorm's never hitting a fetch to shuffle was a little bit meh. Or a Cabal Therapy to, like, take the stuff out of their hand that we knew about. While waiting for the next match to pop, I would just like to say good morning, afternoon, and good night to everyone wherever you're out in the world. Thanks for joining us here on an early Monday morning for me. We're hanging out, battling some Legacy. If you're new, welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I am a TCG player and content producer, and you're at my Twitch page here, maybe my YouTube page in the future. If you're enjoying what you see, I'd encourage you to show a little support. Use that follow button there on your screen. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps other people find my stuff. If you're really enjoying what you see and you want to help me make more content like this, there's a couple different ways you can do that. The first is by subscribing on Twitch or becoming a patron on Patreon. Those both support myself financially directly so I can spend more time making content and less time doing other things. You can also support my content by supporting my sponsors. MTGOtraders.com will love to buy and sell Magic Online cards with you. Use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout there. You'll save 8% on your singles orders. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience. They do custom playmats and mouse pads and stuff like that. MTGCardMarket.com buys and sells physical Magic cards. And SpareDeck.com will rent you any standard or modern deck. You can rent a deck for a weekend or up to an entire month. Really great service if you're someone like myself that doesn't play paper as often and just wants to rent stuff on occasion when you are playing. Yeah, this hand seems fine. It's a little bit light on interaction. We'll probably be pondering for like Daze or Force in the dark ideally, but even if we don't find that, if our opponent's not on something unfair, this hand's fine. If they are on something unfair and they don't kill us on one, we do have a Wasteland as a touch of interaction, and we've got like Brainstorms to dig a little bit more for our disruption. Something that's important here, and this is a really small thing, it's something I kept messing up when I was playing this deck just to start. It's really important that we lead on Volcanic Island here, because on turn 2, if we need to brainstorm into a Cabal Therapy to interact with an unfair deck, we're going to brainstorm off this Volk and then play this Underground Sea. So leading on the Volk is actually really important. Yeah, and we found a Force and a fetch land. So this is actually kind of perfect. So I'm going to put these back like this and then draw the Force. And if we end up not needing the Force, we have a Brainstorm with the fetch there to shuffle it away. Basic is land. It could be almost anything at this point. I think on average, Lightning Bolt is bad against Basic Island, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle that away here. Grab a... I'm going to grab another C at this point, so we have both of our colors out. A Daze. Or Force pitching Lord of Atlantis. So opponent's playing Murfolk. Huh. That's just probably bad for us. Turns out Lightning Bolt would have been good in this matchup. I think I need to fight over this. I need a threat. The rest of my leftovers are not great here. Yeah, right? I think it's right to shuffle that there. It might be right to just leave it, like, on the off chance they're playing something weird like this, but they revealed another Lord. They revealed a Master of the Pearl Trident. Daze is an okay draw, since we can waste them off of that. Start on Brainstorm, see what we find here. That's pretty heinous. I'm going to put these back like this, but we're going to draw that land next turn because I 10 out of 10 want to waste them off this cavern so I can Daze a Lord next turn. This Daze probably isn't going to have many more targets, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. Yeah, I think so. I think that is completely agree with that assessment. My card seems neat and fish, right? Like, their deck, they don't play Brainstorm often, so, like, it gives them some card selection that attacks. Sweet. Are they just, like, choosing to play around Daze? That would be so good for us. Aether Vial, sure. Oh, I guess I should have put the Vulcan to play there. Alright, show me what you're working with. Am I paying mana for this? I think I'm paying mana for this. And actually, put the Scalding Tarn into play, and then pay mana for this. So they can't Spell Pierce it. I think they play Spell Pierce on occasion. That's really good. Come on! Come on, Cabal Therapy. It's a very messed up magic card. Would love a Cabal Therapy. Another Daze. Okay, yeah, that's probably going to be live this game. We're kind of tight on lands. God, if we'd have found like a cantrip into a Daze here, we'd be so well off. If they had a land here, we're going to be in trouble. Like, hoping what they draw, like what? Like more Aether Vials, kind of? Would love a Brainstorm. Would love a Brainstorm. Thank you. God, Brainstorm is such a messed up magic card. Holy crap. Holy crap, Brainstorm is a messed up magic card. I don't actually have two... I don't have two black sources in my deck, though, right? Because I have this Underground Sea in play. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So I can't cast both these therapies. I'm going to put these two back, I think. And then I'm going to put this and this back, and then we'll fetch this out. Yeah. And we'll cast this probe before we get started here. Pay life for this one. Just screenshot this again here. God, they're lucky. They're lucky we already have this this Underground Sea in play. Otherwise, they'd be really ranched right now. All right, what are we taking here? We get to take 2 cards out of their hand. Ooh, the Concession. Yeah, they're probably dead if we take 2 cards here. So, all right, so command this, Pyroblast, Forked Bolt, probably Pithing Needle. Our forces and dazes are actually pretty bad here, right? Like, they were okay that game, but I feel like we're just supposed to play this game where we play to the board. Diabolic Edict seems fine. Yeah, right? It's like, why are there not Cabal Therapies in some of these Grixis Silver decks? I don't understand. So, again, like, these cards were good that game, but I feel like if we're just, like, trading these for cards that, like, play to the board, that's fine. Maybe our own True Names aren't good enough. I guess they block well, right? So they're probably... Nah, they have... But I guess we could probably keep their Lords off the table with this much removal. What do we feel like? Hey! Manuel1202 with the brand new Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Welcome. How do you feel? The only card I'm not sure on are these True Names. I feel like these True Names could be something else, but, like, they're probably fine. Yeah, that's the other thing. The fact that they have Phantasmal Image means True Name gives them more True Names. I could leave, like, a couple of Forces in, or a couple of Dazes. And, like, I could just shuffle those away. Like, Daze was reasonable that game. I don't hate leaving 2 of these in over these. You know, K-Command is a little expensive, but it can kill creatures on top of Shattering Vial. They have back to basics. That's, yeah, let's leave a couple forces in. I guess they have Chalice too, right? Oh, they have Chalice. I want the Grudge. They're a Chalice deck. I want Grudge. They're a Chalice. I'm not going to bring in the Pithing Needle, I don't think. Oh, they have Copter too, right. I forgot they showed us Copter. They're Copter and Chalice, so Grudge seems great. Do I want a 3rd force? This feels like 3 forces is not unreasonable. Do I want 1 less probe since I'm boarding out therapies? I don't hate this. Maybe I honestly just want all the forces because they're a Chalice deck. I could see that being true. Just like probe is slightly worse without therapy in my deck. This is probably fine. I've got a couple Pyroblasts here as counterspells too. I think I like this. Let's do this, and maybe we'll put some of the Dazes back in on the play, if there's a game 3. It looks great. Ding. Let's look for another land here. Grab Volk. These are just great, right? Just like, we'll take all of these. I probably want to draw the Snapcaster so I have something to pitch to this force. Claim to Fame's probably worse than, what's it called? Tristan Compton, I saw Jeff Hoagland. I mean, God, people are fucking obnoxious. I guess I'll take your money to post shit like that. Maybe we need to up what the donation amount to appear on screen is. Maybe we need to up the amount of money you have to give me to post stupid shit. Alright. Counter and kill your shit. What's the plan? Maybe? Maybe I'm actually supposed to pitch the probe there. Yeah, I think I messed up. I think I was supposed to pitch the probe to that last force. Dismember. No. Stop it. I will not counter your Murfolk. Which member? Not this one over here. That's for sure. All right. Lightning bolt your nerd. Wasteland you. Man, Matt, why did I ever try to play a deck that wasn't Grixis Delver? I'm really dumb, huh? I'm really glad we got that Leovold deck out of our system over the weekend, because this deck is great. It's kind of unreal. Like, this deck is just, like, the collection of, like, all of the most messed up Magic cards in Legacy. Yeah, sure, that one resolves. I'm gonna play around a Daze here and kill this on my turn, I think. I get one less point of damage in this way, but... God, Legacy's great. Kill your thing. Alright, attack you. Go. Sure, you're at 5. Alright, let's put you to 2 and then draw a lightning bolt here. Alright, we won't complain about the rest in peace that happened to us this game now. Last match. Alright, look at this deck for a second here. I need to go check and see if I need to change a diaper. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to play some more Legacy. Don't go anywhere, folks. Me more better. Thank you for the resub on the Twitch Prime support. I do appreciate it. Welcome back. 2 months. Thanks for remembering to renew that. I know I often forget to renew my Prime sub, so thank you for coming on back. Catch back up. Someone clip this. We did beat Enchantress. So the key to calling your shots is to you just always call the cards you want to draw. At some point, you're going to be right some amount of the time. And people don't remember, people don't keep track of the ones you miss. It's just like, you know, just get the good ones. Okay, share the make model of my headphones. Yeah, let me check my Amazon purchase history. They were like 20 bucks. Like, whenever someone tells me they have a $200 microphone they're streaming with, I'm always like, you know, doesn't really sound any different. And the headset I used before this one cost $10. $27 over-ear headset. Are very, very expensive. You know, I don't know why people have these. The quality that most people listen to these things on, so you're not going to notice the difference between a $30 headset and a $200 headset. I'm not actually sure. I don't play Limited, and it's going to take a day or two for cards from HOU Limited to filter into the constructed market for purchase, so I'm not worrying about our Devastation cards. Probably till Wednesday or Thursday, we'll probably try and play some Standard. Yeah, and I mean, like, and the honest answer is, like, even if you do set them up right, like, we're not recording music here, right? You're just, like, listening to my voice commentate on a video game or a TCG, so, like, it's not like you need a Beta 58 sitting on your desk to, like, record what your voice sounds like. Of course we're streaming via my T-Mobile internet. My Comcast still isn't working. The last time my Comcast internet worked well enough to stream was June 16th. So we are coming up on the 1 month anniversary of the last time my Comcast was functional. That being said, we are but 3 weeks away from getting fiber internet installed in my home and cutting the Comcast line for good. So that sounds exciting. Good morning, Trax. Is the Snapcaster the 4th Daze or the 4th Pyromancer? So it depends on what list you're going off of. If you're going off of the evolution of the deck list that I've been working on and I've streamed with in the past, the Snapcaster Mage is actually the second True-Name Nemesis. I was playing 2 True Names and a K-Command in the main deck for a long time. The 4th Daze turned into a 3rd Cabal Therapy main. Basically, when I'm, like, tuning and tweaking an existing deck list like this, I always like to trade similar effects for similar other effects. So, like, basically, this deck has 10 pieces of disruption in the main deck. We've got 4 forces, 3 Daze, and 3 therapy right now. So I think you, like, always want 10-ish pieces of disruption in your Delver deck. And then I basically have, like, these 3 slots of True Name, Kolaghan's Command, and now Snapcaster Mage right now, which was previously 2 True Names and a Kolaghan's Command, where these are, like, my fair deck hedge magic cards, basically. These cards generate value and are good in the more grindy matchups. We don't have friendly leagues for Legacy because you can't call a format friendly where you can die on turn 1. JK, we actually don't have friendly leagues for Legacy because there isn't a large enough player base online, because Wizards insists on making Legacy astronomically expensive online, just like in paper. Yeah, Snap's, like, reasonable with Therapy. With Flusterstorms and Surgicals and Pyroblast post-board, Snapcaster Mage is also reasonable against other combo decks. Because I have 2 Kolaghan's Commands in the 75, like, Kolaghan's commanding back Snapcaster Mage is just, like, it's a hell of a drug, so, like, it seems pretty reasonable. We snapped Probed on 2 at one point in this tournament already, so, like, that seems a very reasonable line. Card's super flexible. I don't know if I'd want 3 or a second. I feel like we might be able to afford two snaps in this deck just because we're on 4 probes. So, like, the snap probe line is very reasonable a lot of the time. So like this is in a lot of decks, Snapcaster is effectively a 3+ mana play. When you have 4 Gitaxian Probes in your deck, it can be a 2 mana play, which is nice. I actually had a game in the Legacy Challenge yesterday where I Snapcastered a Force of Will. It's like, alright, that's a lot of mana. Angler is very good. This is basically a 1 mana 5/5. Basically a 1 mana 5/5. The fish is very good. It Gurmag Angler lets you be extra good against decks that have like Tasigur or other large creatures in them, and it's a quick clock. Like we fill up our graveyard fairly quickly, especially with 4 probes, so 10 seems fine. Doesn't have a threat in it, but it doesn't necessarily have to have a threat in it. It's got a Bolt for a fair matchup. It's got some Forces for an unfair matchup. Yeah, the number of times you cast Gurmag Angler for exactly when you only have 1 black source, like last set match was a good example of that. Like there's only 2 Underground Seas in our deck, so I think I might try the Death Shadow variations after my Legacy tournament next weekend. But between now and that Legacy tournament, the only Legacy deck I'm going to be playing on and off stream is Grixis Delver, because this is the deck that I am 10 out of 10 playing in that tournament, so I would like to practice with it. My opponent's mulligan to 5, so either they're very unlucky or these Force of Wills are about to be good. Badlands probably means Reanimator. Thoughtseize, yeah, that's fine. I got 2 Forces, buddy. Enjoy. I'm going to Wasteland you on 1. I'm going to probe you first, but we're probably Wastelanding you on 1. This is almost certainly the red-black Reanimator deck. That deck mulligans like crazy. Very inconsistent. I guess if I probe here, there's a chance I can't force next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to Wasteland them and take another draw step before we burn this probe, I think. Like 90% sure they're on the Reanimator deck. They could be Jund that just mulliganed a lot. But they took a Force out of my hands that makes me think they're the Reanimator deck. Yeah, I don't have another land either. It's good for us. Deathrite Shaman, you say. Alright, well, let's fetch Tropical Island and play that out. Let's fetch C here. Yeah, I'm going to fetch Underground Sea, because this way, if I want to cast a blue card next turn, I can do that and then fetch Trop with this. Storm doesn't usually play Thoughtseize, and they often don't play Badlands. Badlands and Storm is pretty rare. Yeah, I think we're just going to sit. Like, with the Deathrite Shaman active and, like, a Force, we probably can't lose this game if they're the Reanimator deck. Just gonna, like, hang out and never not have green mana up. Sure, you have a Lotus Petal. I mean, like, is it really fair to compare a Planeswalker to a creature? I would argue Deathrite Shaman's the best Planeswalker in Legacy. Man, I am glad we didn't use this probe. You have some Lotus Petals. And they're definitely the Reanimator deck at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and fetch a Volk and then send a Bolt upstairs here. I didn't play a land yet, right? So I can just draw. Yeah, I want all of these. And the next turn we can Snap Bolt. right. They're almost dead on our next turn, right? They're going to go to 9 here. They're going to go to 6 here. Yeah, they're dead on our untap, so they got to kill us through this force and this Deathrite Shaman. So this is their last ditch because they know they're likely dead next turn. You want your tablet? There you go. Opponent try and figure out their best chance to induce a mistake out of us, probably. Dark Ritual. Sure, that's fine, right? Maybe I'm supposed to force that, actually. Just, like, keep them off of having enough mana to do things. Yeah, actually, I'm probably supposed to force this because he can't actually reanimate the Gristlebrand. Yeah, I should have forced this because I wasn't thinking about his life total. Reanimate requires you lose life equal to its converted mana cost, so he can't actually reanimate this. Yeah, if they go Brutality into... Or they're just killing this in response. Okay, we'll eat their Gristlebrand here. I made a mistake here. I should have forced the Dark Ritual. Animate dead my Deathrite Shaman. If I force this, I get a token, and then I snap bolt them, they go to 5, and they're dead. So yeah, we will force this. That Snapcaster Mage seems great. Kind of want a second. I'm kind of a sucker for snap bolting people out of games. Alright, and this matchup gets better for us post-board. Edict's fine. K-Command and True-Name are bad. Lightning Bolt was okay there, but it's not actually good in this matchup. Look at that. Such easy ins and easy outs. If we added a 19th land, I could, Maddie. You're right, I probably shouldn't play 2. We see enough cards that we can draw them. I don't think I want any of these other cards, right? They're not blue Reanimator, so Pyroblast isn't good. No, not at all. So, when I was kind of disinterested in Legacy in my early Magic career, the thing I realized is that, like, I was trying to play Legacy in the same way I played Standard and Modern, and that in formats like Standard and Modern, you can kind of just, like, play mush and, like, play, like, really weird things and, like, still be really fairly competitive, and as opposed to Legacy, like, the good cards in Legacy are pretty clearly ironed out, like, even, like, the Dead Guy Ale deck that I worked on is basically, like, a collection of cards that are, like, these are powerful Legacy cards that see play in other decks in the format. So, like, in Legacy, there's a lot of... Legacy generates a lot of really interesting games of Magic and has a lot of really complex decisions, but it's not really, like, a Brewers format. So, like, if I'm approaching Legacy from, like, the same aspect that, like, I approach, like, Standard and Modern, I found myself getting really frustrated with it. But when I kind of just, like, tuned in and, like, focused on, like, actually playing the games as opposed to, like, trying to brew, I found myself enjoying it a lot more. Like, this Grixis Delver deck's a great example. Like, this deck is far and away so much better than so many of the things in the format. Like, every time I play something not this, I kind of find myself coming back to it like, man, this deck has the most results for a reason. I mean, like, Miracles was the deck that was head and shoulders above everything else before Top got banned, so, like, it isn't always Delver's fault. So this hand's kind of interesting. It's a little bit mana heavy, but it has Deathrite Shaman, Edict, and Flusterstorm, which are all, like, cards I'm looking for, and, like, Wasteland often has a text box in this matchup. My opponent's mulligan, so I'm kind of inclined to keep this hand, but post-board I have Force and Surgical to mulligan too, so I think I might ship this. Matt, what's your perspective? Would you keep this? They've gone to 6. What do you think, Maddie? I think this hand's fine. Like, their turn 1 consistency, like, turn 1 to turn 2 consistency is actually pretty high. So, like, I wouldn't be super surprised if we die with this hand. Like, on the play, we snap this off, I think. But, like, on the draw, like, it's kind of medium. They bottomed. Okay, so maybe we don't die on 1. I feel like when we have 6 really good cards to mulligan to, it's not unreasonable to mulligan close 7s. Okay, now here's a real question. We drew... Do I wait a turn on this Deathrite Shaman? And just, like, pass with this Flusterstorm up? I think them mulliganing is the tipper. So, like, do we Deathrite Shaman on 1? I think we're supposed to pass with the Flusterstorm up, right? I feel like I want to pass. I'm like, hopefully they fetch a non-basic here and then we can waste them off of it next turn. Their deck's very land light, so they often have to fetch non-basics. Unfortunate. Now, do we like countering the Entombs or do we like countering the Reanimates? I think I like countering the Entombs, honestly. The flip side is because I have this Deathrite Shaman, if I, like, counter the Reanimate spell next turn, I can then Deathrite Shaman the thing out of their discard pile. But I think we're supposed to keep them off of these. I'm going to get UC here. And again, they did mulligan, so, like, mulligans means this is more likely to be good. They have less resources overall. I know Lewis has a lot of results, but and this could be my bias towards, like, playing against mostly fair decks in the format. Like, I want to hedge fair decks a little bit, and Therapy's better at hedging fair decks, I think. It's just, Therapy is a messed up Magic card. It is a messed up Magic card. I don't understand why you wouldn't main deck it. That's a Chancellor. Chancellor's actually one we can beat pretty reasonably, especially with this Diabolic Edict in our hand. This is a matchup that, like, the one Dismember... Oh, we don't have another blue card. Right. And they didn't have a 1-mana Reanimate spell last turn, so maybe they won't have it this turn. No, we can kill this. We have a Diabolic Edict. I kind of wouldn't mind having a second Edict in my 75 for matchups like this. The Dismember could be a second Edict. Good draw. So these make all my spells cost 1 more, basically. Here, yeah, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to pass here. I'm going to take a hit for 5 from this, so that way they can't just reanimate it right away. Because we have 3 mana for this Diabolic Edict with a Deathrite Shaman. Grab my Trop here. Yeah, Wasteland will probably be pretty good at some point. Let's play the second Deathrite Shaman out here. We have a Force of Will to protect them in case they have Clasm or something. Pass the turn here. And then they're at 12 because they cast Reanimate as their Reanimate spell. So, like, these 2 Deathrite Shamans are going to drain them out pretty quickly. Therapy's much worse without Probe. It's still playable. Like, I enjoyed playing it without, This is a good... It is, right? Like, and, like, it's funny. Like, when my opponent was playing Enchantress and playing Murfolk, I'm like, man, these matches might be bad for us. Like, they have a lot of tools that are, like, theoretically good against us. And then, like, we played the games, and I was like, oh, I just, like, tell you, no, you can't do your thing, and then kill you. Like, that's what Grixis Delver does. It says, no, stop it. You're not allowed to do that. Stop it. You're not... Stop it. All right, kill you. Ooh, a Ponder. This Wasteland actually isn't particularly good at this point, so I think I'm going to Brainstorm as opposed to Ponder, because I wouldn't mind shuffling this Wasteland away. Yep. Huh. I don't even need this Delver, right? Like, I just don't. I'm just gonna, like, kill them with these idiots. Yeah, let's take the Delver. Now I've got a Ponder to pitch to Force. Young Pyromancer Cabal Therapy is what makes this deck on average better against the field than Sultai Delver. Thoughtseize. I think the value of just keeping them out of my hand is high. I didn't miss a point of damage. I wanted to be able to activate my Deathrite Shaman to make mana, so that way if my opponent doesn't try to reanimate something, I can drain them with the other Deathrite Shaman. So they were pretty unlikely to have something to reanimate this turn. So this lets me make black mana and then use that black mana to exile something this turn. Survey says, show you Ponder. All right. And we're actually just not even casting that Ponder, right? We're just like, attack you, drain, untap, drain. Yeah, I agree that Hymn to Torak is not well positioned. Hymn to Torak's good against Storm, but like it's pretty poor against Reanimate. Like I don't want to board out have a discard spell that I have to board out against one of the better combo decks in the format. Seems pretty mediocre. I don't know that I would say that it isn't good, but I would definitely say that it's worse than Grixis Delver on average against the field. Howdy, Ark. Alright. Kill you with my Delver secrets. Alright. Easy 3-0. The one game we've lost so far, our opponent ripped their one outer while they were dead on board, so, you know, it's a fun way to start the board. We're slaughtering them up now. I don't know that I'm going to do a long stream today. I might just play this league and then come back later. Hang out with the kids for a little bit. I think the weather's supposed to clear up, so I might take the kids out. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Got almost 500 people watching this morning, enjoying some Legacy, Magic's greatest format. Welcome to everyone. Be sure to give the stream a follow if you're new here. We will definitely, if you're a Standard player, we'll be going to be brewing a lot of Standard with Hour of Devastation later this week when those cards become more accessible on Magic Online. The pre-releases start later this morning, so it'll take a couple days for the cards to filter in and become accessible. Peace, Javier. I appreciate it. And remember, if you didn't catch all of today's stream, we did start a little bit early. We've been streaming for a little over an hour now. All of my streams get archived to my YouTube channel, which is linked in the stream information down below. So if you want to see more Grixis Delver after I sign off today, there's a ton of Grixis Delver videos on there at this point. This is a deck I've been playing in Legacy a lot with a lot of different iterations. But what about Vintage? So I actually would like to poke into Vintage, but Vintage doesn't have leagues on Magic Online because, again, it's not terribly popular because Magic Online insists on making Vintage artificially expensive when it doesn't have to be on Magic Online. So, like, Vintage isn't accessible to play on the one format it should be accessible to play in, which is kind of frustrating. Weird, Rollins. No, I don't really play much Limited at all. I play some Hex Limited because some of the Hex Cash tournaments I play on Hex TCG are Limited, and like Cash tournaments from home are just like easy, let's play them. So like I do some Limited on the Hex side, but like on the Magic side, I don't play in Grand Prix and I don't really play in PTQs, so like I don't really have a reason to play Limited. I don't enjoy playing Limited on average. I much prefer to like work on a constructed deck and like tune a deck that I'd much rather tune a deck that I'm taking to a tournament as opposed to like learning a draft format and then like hoping to get a good draft or a good sealed pool. I find that kind of frustrating that like the ultimate like of my success in an event is like I can't prep before it has to come like opening. God, why, Maddie? Why did we ever think about playing a deck that wasn't Grixis Delver? Why did you even let me consider it? I don't understand. Like, why would we consider playing a deck that is a Grixis Delver in this format? Look at this hand. Like, probe you. Do we need to take 2 of your cards away with a therapy? We could do that. If not, we could play Deathrite Shaman and then Wasteland you next turn. Holy crap. This deck is so good. It's so good. No, we're on the play, Betty. We won the die roll. We won the die roll. We're going to probe them and then therapy them if they're going to try and kill us. So the sponsors graphics are what allow me to stream. So I would like them to be prominent on the screen. the size of the Magic cards is not such that you could read their text boxes anyways. So, like, blocking their text boxes but still showing you their name and their artwork, and the artwork is their primary identifying feature. So, like, I really feel like I'm not taking anything away from it. And the fact that you notice it makes it very good ad placement. Gives value to those advertisements that help me pay the bills and give me the ability to do this like I do. Man, do you think this Wasteland's going to be good against their Cloud Post deck? What do you think? What do you think, chat fam? Do we think this Wasteland is going to be good here? And again, like, we got to probe, so, like, that tells me I can play this Deathrite Shaman on one. Go. So, Magic Online leagues don't pair you based on record, so my opponent could be anywhere from, like, hasn't played a match yet to, you know. Alright, so now we're just going to Wasteland them and Cabal Therapy them, right? I'm going to take away their Thought-Knot Seers here. Is this a good turn? Anyone sure? Play my Birds of Paradise that eventually kills you. I don't think I'm supposed to aggressively Brainstorm here. I'm just supposed to let this happen. Yeah, Magic's hard. I think I'm going to Brainstorm. This Bolt's probably not particularly great. It's better than these other cards, though. Let's put these back. Play this. Crack my fetch. Get a Volk here. Probe my opponent. See what's up. We know all of their cards, right? I'm going to take a new screenshot just because I can. Trop, sure. Am I casting this Ponder? I feel like I should cast this Ponder, right? Oh, Probe and Pyromancer, you say? I'm just going to attack them for 4 here. I think I want this Bolt to make a Pyromancer token. I made sure to leave the Pyromancer on top of my deck, so that way I can't get Thought-Knot Seer this turn. What's my current internet speed? So, currently, I am streaming... Don't play Chalice of the Void for one. They have a Chalice. They drew Chalice of the Void. It's unfortunate. Punished for not playing this Lightning Bolt out. Okay, now we could lose this game. Now we could lose this game. Our opponent was pretty dead here before they drew that Chalice, but now they could maybe get out of it. They're probably still dead. They have 2 Glimmer Posts in their hand is the thing. The Glimmer Posts could get us. These are going to gain them a lot of life. Yeah, like they get to Kozilek next turn, right? I'm not even being dramatic, Betty. I think we're actually going to lose this game. Yep. It's a Misty Rainforest that we knew about. So, like, if our opponent hadn't drawn this Chalice of the Void, we would have been able to Cabal Therapy them last turn off the Pyromancer. And, like, would have drawn an extra card because of the Gitaxian Probe, etc., etc. They're going to gain another 4 life this turn, plus put a big giant fatty into play. I don't even actually know what these Koziliks do. And one of them draws them a bunch of cards. We're probably dead. So this was easily the best draw in their deck there. Oh yeah, and they're gonna have mana left over afterwards too. Yeah, they drew Ulabog the Ceaseless Hunger. I mean, like, that's Legacy, right? And, like, one of the ways you beat decks like this is, like, if you start 3-0 at a tournament, you're pretty unlikely to play against a deck like what my opponent's playing, because they're just, like, on average, they don't win a lot of matches. But when they drew their best card in the matchup, in that particular spot, so that's fine. We're going to die. Yep, I ran pretty hot. I think True Name's okay in this matchup. It blocks the Squidbillies, right? Dismember seems fine. Force is fine. Cabal Therapy's great. What are we actually cutting? What cards are not good here? Are the Dazes not good enough? I feel like the Dazes might not be good enough. The 4-color Leovold deck is, I'm convinced, is just like a strictly worse version of this deck. I guess the Bolts could go. Edict's fine. Bring in the Edict and the Dazes. I don't hate this. Daze is pretty good on the play. We could waste and then surgical them. You're not wrong. I think that's a little narrow. I think I'd rather do this. Maybe on the draw we'll try that instead of having these Dazes. Oh, that's 61 cards. Yeah, I think that's fine. Seems reasonable. Yeah, same seems fine. I think this is actually a matchup where I want to play Delver before Deathrite Shaman. This is the matchup where I just want to get him dead. They have a Grudge if they have a Chalice. The 2 Kolaghan's commands giving us 3 ways to kill Chalice post board feels really good. Sure. So if they have Chalice of the Void for 1-on-1 here, we're going to be a little bit sad about not having let on Deathrite Shaman, so we can only Grudge next turn, but I think it's still right to lead on the Delver. If they go like Chalice for 1, Warping Whale, sure. That's a deal. I think the K commands are good. So here's an interesting question. Do we just go... I think we're just supposed to go Delver Deathrite here. There could be an argument to holding up Dismember in case of Thought-Knot Seer, but the odds of them having another 2-mana land are kind of low since they led on City of Traders. The K commands have been worthwhile. In addition to killing Chalices, like having extra ways to kill Umezawa's Jite is very good. No, I think Deathrite Shaman's pretty good. Like, accelerating our mana is reasonable, and like this is a threat that drains them out. To lead on this, their mana has to be fairly awkward. Like Dismembering here? They have a Chalice of the Void that I get to Ancient Grudge? Sure. We'll be streaming Hex later today. So, the update they pushed out on Friday for Hex has been causing a lot of instability in my client on running it on Linux under Wine, and their lead dev said that they were going to have another patch today or tomorrow. So if they patch today, I'm going to stream some Hex today, but if they don't patch till tomorrow, I'm probably going to hold off on hexing till tomorrow. Because I've been getting my Hex client under Wine's been crashing like 1 or 2 times per match, which is really frustrating and doesn't make for good content. Another Chalice of the Void. Good thing this Ancient Grudge flashes back, huh? And a Force. Alright, sure. Gonna attack with these. Yeah, because they can't Thought Not Seer us this turn. Play another Chalice? Sure. I'm gonna flash this back. Deal. Yeah, it might be. Now it's gonna be less close. Alright, let's exile this for a green mana. Flashback this on here. Let's go ahead and brainstorm and look for a Wasteland. Well, I mean, sure. I think we're just gonna put these two back. Now we're probably fine, unless they rip a Cavern of Souls. They're gonna, like, say no to their first couple things. And, like, with this Insectile Aberration, we're, like, 5ing them a turn, right? So, like, the Insectile plus the Deathrite Shaman here is, like, 5. Do I want to Brainstorm again here? I get 2 cards deeper if I Brainstorm here. I'm going to wait 1 turn, I think. So these are each going to make 6, 7, 8 mana. 9, they'll have 9 mana. Okay, so this is 8 here. This actually doesn't matter. Did your thing die? Yeah, the Comcast is choking. I'm sorry, buddy. Do you hear that? Comcast is literally killing my 3-year-old right now. Literally murdering my children. Why, Comcast? Why? All he wants to do is watch, oh, internet connection error. I know. Comcast is murdering you. It's taking all of your stuff away. I guess if... Oh, we don't have bolts in our deck right now. Wasteland? Comcast, this blood is on your head. We just want to watch Shaun the Sheep. No Wi-Fi connection. I know. It's tough, buddy. I'm sorry. Alright, so what are we doing here? I think we're supposed to throw these 2 back. Although I guess if I play the Delver, can we kill them next turn? So this is, they're going to 5, they're going to 3. No, they're dead next turn without this. So I'm going to put these 2 back. And then I'm going to crack this fetch. Alright, I was looking for a therapy here, which we didn't find, but it's not a big deal. They should be dead with these forces. They'll get to draw some cards, but it really doesn't matter. Yeah, sorry, I'll mute myself off and on. I know not everyone wants to listen to my children scream. I mean, I don't want to listen to my children scream, to be fair. Oh no. Declan's tablet just ran out of buffer. There's gonna be 2 of them screaming now. I apologize. Yeah. Hopefully the Comcast comes back up. This is why I'm actually tethered to my cell phone right now, because that's how stable my Comcast has been. Do we want to cut Dazes on the draw? I don't think so. I think I just want the Dazes overall. I think I'm fine with how we boarded. Yeah, I think I'm fine with how we boarded. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go reset my modem and router to see if that helps. Sometimes it does. Usually it doesn't because the problem is Comcast upstream of me, but I'm going to try and help the children. God, this hand is great. They're so sad they don't understand. They just don't understand. So now the question here is, what am I supposed to do on this first turn? I feel like wastelanding them is bad and I'm supposed to save that for a cloud post. I don't have it. If I had another blue card for this force, I'd just probe them. I really don't want to get Thought-Knot Seared on 2 without holding Dismember up. Should we probe here? We probably don't have to force for a little while, right? Yeah, I'm gonna probe here and see what's up. Mythic Fishmon with the Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, they want us to wasteland this Ayavugan because they have another Ayavugan in their hand. So I'm glad we probed it to just wasteland them. And we drew a Delver on one. All right, well, we're doing that, right? No, the Delver means I can force. All right, let's do this and pass. Man, now I probably want to go Wasteland Delver, right? Do I want to Wasteland Delver? So their hand is Tomb, If we brick on a blue card for this force for a little while, we might be in trouble, but otherwise we're in really good shape here. The only reason to consider holding this other Delver is because we could brick on a blue card for force. I mean, we're not even that behind to a Thought-Knot Seer, honestly, right? Like, we flip these Delvers and just race them. Attack for 1 here. If I crack this fetch land, I still can't fish, so pass. Oh, sweet. They don't have a land to play. That's really good for us. So now we get to scry with this Delver trigger. If there's a card we don't want to draw on top, we can fetch it away. Anything not blue, we're probably fetching away here. My opponent commented 26 lands and you get more lands than me. I told them to play more cantrips. So I'm going to attack with both of these here, because I'm going to fetch, which will put me to 5 cards, and then play the Gurmag Angler, so yeah. Look, speaking as someone who's played non-blue decks in Legacy a lot, you can't complain when you don't draw your cards, because, like, you're not playing blue cards. I would like the record to reflect that I have never once suggested Brainstorm be banned. I simply implied that Brainstorm is too good and you should probably be playing it. Alright. Here you go, Declan. Sorry about that. Alright, so my T-Mobile internet is now not only powering this stream, but it's also powering... Oh, look at that. Oh, baby. Oh, do you think they're going to be salty? I feel like they're going to be salty. Let's just kill that one right there. Anyone who thinks Brainstorm isn't really good to the point where you probably should be playing it is, like, unrealistic. Like, it's fine to say you enjoy Legacy, and, like, I enjoy Legacy and I love playing it, and it generates really interesting games of Magic that I like playing, but, like, Legacy without Brainstorm, you're crippling yourself, you're putting yourself at a strict disadvantage by doing so. Like, that's just the truth. Like, be realistic about what the format is. Meet my friend, exert my force of will. Because the Delver deck has it all, that's why, ladies and gentlemen. GG's opponent. GG's. Alright, 4-0. When they peel on us. Does no one let the opponent know that Brainstorm and Deathrite are legal? Yep, so, man, my T-Mobile internet connection is great. Like... It's not the hero, correct, right? Like, I'm pushing 3 megabits a second up to stream at 1080p right now, and they're both streaming video to their tablets right now, all through my cell phone. All through my cell phone. So apologies for the shrieking, I muted myself where I could. I was hoping my Comcast would come back up and I wouldn't have to tether them to my phone, because, like, I've tethered over 100 gigs of data this month. God bless T-Mobile allowing me to stream, because Lord knows Comcast won't. So this is going to be the last match that we're going to play today with the Grixis Silver deck and that I'm going to be streaming for. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Do a quick sponsors plug here to close it out. Remember, if you're enjoying the stream, be sure to check out my sponsors, support them, mtgotraders.com for your Magic Online singles needs. inkedgaming.com has a lot of really good selection of custom playmats, and you can also select from their artwork that they have already. mtgcardmarket.com buys and sells physical cards, and sparedeck.com will rent you standard and modern decks. Also, please consider subscribing or becoming a patron on Patreon if you're enjoying my content and want to support me a little bit extra. We're 4-0 here in this league with Grixis Silver, and let's see if we can get the 5-0 in this last one. My current internet speed connection that I pay for from Comcast, when the Comcast is functional, I pay for 75 down and 15 up. And it costs $90 a month. The fiber connection is going to be 200 down and 25 up, and it will cost me $60 a month. Bayou Green Sentient. This matchup's probably going to be hard for us. The numbers are good when you get them. Yeah, that's exactly correct. When they're good, like, the speeds are good when they happen. But, like, you know, I'm just like, the service that I pay for is fine. It's just, like, I haven't actually gotten the service that I pay for the last month. Well, that's not good for us. All right. Wasteland, please. I guess Lightning Bolt's pretty good, too, right? I mean, bolt this. I'm going to probe again because we would like a Wasteland or a... Alright, that's a Pyromancer. So now we need to ponder for a Daze or a Force. Any order, shuffle. Yep, it's unfortunate. So we're going to get Chalice for one here. Yep. They're missing land drops. Maybe we can run them out with the Pyromancers. Maybe. It's a good draw. All right. Wasteland that one. I'm just going to play the big fish out here. As you will, opponent. If they brick for a couple of turns here, we're going to be great. If they hit a land right away, they get to loan this back. So good beats on the opponent's part. Their deck plays a lot of lands, I guess, but still a touch frustrating. Especially since we drew a lot of cards and then bricked on our first turn. Alright, and the good news is they don't currently have double black. So we've got that going for us. Because that means they can't... I know this is getting countered, but it's going to make a token here. Yeah, this is good against Liliana. They have a Knight of the Reliquary that they also can't cast. They have another... They hit Punishing Fire? Come on! God, that's... Alright, so they're hoping to draw a Black Source here. Which they did, of course. No. This is the best deck, and like this game here, like this matchup's supposed to be bad for us, and like they were on the play, they had their Chalice of the Void, we bricked on finding 7 different cards on 5 looks, and like they had to hit Punishing Fire on the in-between here. Maybe I didn't have to run that token into the Dryad Arbor, but I felt like from a standpoint of pressuring them, like that's what we wanted to do, but like now we're gonna lose the game because they hit their land for Liliana, and we didn't hit a Force or a Daze. Couple cards down, but it is what it is. If we would have drawn Wasteland there, we could have, like, if this was just 1 card deeper, we would have been able to waste them off of this, and then, like, they're basically locked. At any rate, we get better against this deck post-board. Someone asked, does this have any inherently bad matchups? I don't think it does, honestly. Surgical Extraction seems fine. Pithing Needle seems fine. It can name Knight and Liliana the Veil. Cabal Therapy is kind of mediocre in these non-blue matchups. I mean, like it's not like they always have it, but like he hit the couple of things they needed to hit. Like we both bricked there for a second, and then like they hit out of it before we did. And like to be fair, once they had the Chalice on the table, they had a lot more draw outs than we did. I definitely want the Brainstorms and the Dazes and the Forces. I don't know if this is a Lightning Bolt matchup. This probably isn't. I can kill Knight of the Reliquary sometimes, but it's a very narrow window to do that. It's okay at finishing off Liliana the Veil. I want Surgicals for the Punishing Fires and their Wastelands and their Loams, potentially. There's one more trim here. I can cut a Probe since I'm cutting Therapies. That seems reasonable. You need to kill Dark Confidant. Is this a 4? I don't actually know. MTGO bot. Oh, it did say. No, it didn't tell me their record, so I don't know what my opponent's record is. Often it is not a 4-0-4-0 pairing. Diabolic Edict's actually probably pretty good. You gotta kill Dark Confidant. They don't all play Dark Confidant. And, like, I have Dismember, Fire Covenant, Kolaghan's Command, and Diabolic Edict. So, like, I have 5 ways to kill Dark Confidant here. I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna submit like this. I would love to play first. Yeah, that sounds fine, right? Going to... Huh. Yeah, I think I'm going to ponder on one here just in case so we can fight a Daze or a Force. Yep, there's a Force. Yeah, all these cards are pretty good, right? So we're going to draw the Force here in case they try to Chalice the Voidus on one. They're going to waste us on one, try and get the freebie. Sweet. I think I might Surgical this Wasteland. I think I know what we're playing. The team's playing in the CCS, yeah. During their draw step, I'm going to Surgical their Wastelands. And you want to do it during their draw step because it gives them a chance to draw another Wasteland. Which they had. They're only playing 3 Wastelands. Okay. So you have a Tabernacle and a Liliana. Yeah, this matchup's probably hard for us. Like I said, like, you should never expect a 5-0. Like, we're 4-1, and, like, I've 4-1'd, like, I don't know, probably 75% or more of the leagues that I play with this deck. So it's very consistent. Kinda sucks that this is gonna get Abrupt Decayed. They don't have a lot going on. Oh my god! Holy Magic Online! I forgot to click the one out of their bin. Alright, that's fine. I was talking and looking at their deck list and I forgot to click the one in the bin. Yep. Oh, I should have fetched there before I drew. We're gonna get fucked by that, I'm sure. Fetch land, please. And we missed on a... Wow! Alright, well, we're pretty ranched. I shouldn't have drawn this. I should have fetched before we drew this. If they draw Loam, I'm just gonna concede. And just, like, move on with my life. I think I have to bin the... I guess I could just let this resolve. And Pithing Needle it. Now, I'm so tight on mana. It is, but, like, there's things in paper that are just, like, functionally harder to do than they are in Magic Online. What happened to... Yeah, I'm just gonna... Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and call the stream here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We messed up on the Wasteland, and, like, we're gonna brick off on this land here for a little while. He has Decay for the Needle, too. Good call. So, thank you, everyone, for watching. I do appreciate it. We streamed for about 2 hours. Remember, if you didn't catch all 4 of the first matches that we played, they'll go up on the YouTube channel. I definitely think something Jarvis, you recommended is playing a 19th land, which seems pretty reasonable. I've kind of wanted a 3rd Underground Sea at times before, and, like, I'm playing this extra Kolaghan's Command and, like, this Snapcaster Mage. Like, these things are more mana hungry, and we've got, like, another one here. I've got, like, all these 3s in the sideboard as well. So, like, playing a 19th land doesn't seem completely unreasonable. So I'm going to have to think on, like, what I want to cut from the main deck, because I've been pretty happy with all the spells that I'm playing in the main deck, so I'm not sure which of them I necessarily want to cut for a 19th land, but we're definitely going to give it a try. Be sure to follow on Twitch and Twitter for notifications on when I go live with other things. So, I'm sure you all heard the children screaming in the background at some point, but unlike a lot of Magic players, I'm not completely a degenerate gambler, which means that I understand that these treasure chests are worth a little over $2 a piece. So the only time I open treasure chests on stream is if someone donates to do so, because these I can literally convert into dollar bills to pay, you know, pay my mortgage or buy toys or whatever. You know, like, I've been consistently cashing out $100 to $200 a month for Magic Online because I don't open my chests, and I consistently do well on leagues and in their challenge events. So you too, if you are good at Magic and Magic Online, can make money just, you know, dicking around in your spare time. But you have to do that by not opening the chests, because they are higher EV closed. So thank you for watching again. I'm going to find someone to give a host here.